good morning. I'm so glad that you came back this Sunday, and I'm excited to share another story about Jesus with you. So you know how we do science experiments every Wednesday? Well, experiments help scientists discover the truth about things. They help show solutions, and sometimes they need to know if something is acidic or what they call neutral, meaning think of acidic like a lemon and neutral more like a cotton candy. You know, it's not sour in your mouth, but it's sweet. And so sometimes they need to know what something is, whether it's acidic or neutral. And they use a special paper to do this, and it's called litmus paper. The paper will turn a certain color depending on if the liquid is acidic or not. Well, science helps us discover the rules of nature. The more we understand, the more we can solve problems and discover new possibilities to help people. Like right now, scientists are working very hard to find a cure for this virus. They are using things like the litmus test to help them figure out what can be used and what can't be used on people. So guys, I have a question. Can people who need proof also be people of faith? In the book of John, we read the story of one of Jesus' disciples named Thomas. And I want you guys to pause the video right now and read John chapter 20, verses 19 through 31. And then come back and we will continue the lesson. So Thomas didn't believe the women when they told him what they saw at the tomb. He didn't believe the other stories either of the two men who walked with Jesus to Emmaus. Once they realized it was Jesus, they ran and told the disciples what they had just seen and saw. And Thomas didn't want to believe any of that. He wanted proof for himself. In fact, in our story, we read that he said, "Unless I can put my fingers in Jesus' hands and on his side, I will not believe it." Well, what do you think Jesus did about that? Do you think he ignored Thomas and said, "Oh well, guess he can't go to heaven because he doesn't believe that I resurrected from the dead"? In our story, we read that Jesus chose to appear to Thomas and allowed him to see for himself. He allowed Thomas to touch the wounds in his hands and on his feet and on his side. He allowed Thomas to see with his eyes. Jesus allowed Thomas to have his proof so he could believe. Our story tells us that when Thomas saw the wounds for himself, he fell to his knees and shouted, "My Lord, my God." Jesus then told Thomas that an even greater blessing belonged to those who do not see and yet believe. It's easy to believe something when we can see it with our own eyes, isn't it? It's easier to see that Mr. Sean is in the room with me. I can see it, so I believe it, but you guys can't see it. So you're just going to have to take my word for it that Mr. Sean's in this room with me. But if you were with me, it'd be easier for you to believe because you could see Mr. Sean in this room for yourself with your own eyes. But guys, the true test of your faith is if you believe, even when you are not able to see it for yourself, that you still believe. So, here's my question for you. Will you choose to live by faith and not by sight? Let's pray. Lord, I am so thankful that even though Thomas needed proof, you still wanted Thomas with you. And you chose to still appear to Thomas and allow him to touch your hands, your feet, and the wound in your side to prove to him that you were Jesus and that you are the Messiah and that you have risen from the dead. But Lord, for us, sometimes it is so hard to believe things that we cannot see. And Lord, I pray that throughout the week and maybe throughout the rest of the month, Lord, that you continue to make your presence known to these children and families who are watching this video. Lord, reveal yourself in a way that only you can do. Reveal yourself in different ways that they might be able to say, "Oh, that was Jesus." And Lord, I'm so thankful that you choose us, that you choose to still come around us and want us with you. And Lord, now as these kids are continuing to do school at home and having to stay a safe distance away from the rest of their friends and family, Lord, I pray that your arms wrap around them and that you encourage them and you lift them up. And I pray all of this in your Son's precious and holy name. And we all say, amen. All right, guys, I love you. Have a great week. I can't wait to see you soon.